Before he began talking about the dream, he talked about a bounce check. He talked about obligations that had gone unmet, and that if our nation did not address these problems, the tragic result was a fierce urgency of now, that we could no longer wait. And then he went on to the climactic conclusion, his I Have a Dream part. And Martin Luther King Jr., standing at the other end of this mall, was looking at the Congress. He was looking at the Capitol of the United States. He was looking at Democrats and Republicans who were concerned about budget austerity. And since I've been a member of Congress, they've been trying to balance the budget. We want to balance the budget by 2002. But there are many needs in this nation that continue to go unmet. And so I've given David Dreyer my scarf as a bipartisan show of unity. I'm certainly hoping that David will give me his vote when it comes to salvaging many of these programs they tried to cut in the 104th Congress.
We want to get capital. We want to get capital into the inner city, and Jesse and I have talked about this. That's one of the reasons that I'm working diligently to cut the top rate on capital gains from 28 to 14%, because I believe that that would do more to deal with inner city problems and a wide range of other concerns that are out there than many of the programs that Jesse might like to restore.
And I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned that David's cuts will be targeted to areas that have long since been neglected, that have not changed since Martin Luther King Jr. gave his speech in 1963.
The president talked about free enterprise. I'm convinced the capital can get in there by doing that.
Jim, for this wonderful moment of comedy between the two of you, we're going to bring in Congresswoman Loretta Sanchez. By the way, congratulations. You were elected to the seat that was held by Republican Bob Dornan for those many years. As you're a new freshman, a new member of the House coming in, is this a time that's propitious, do you think, for bringing the races closer together in this country?
Well, we do need to work on bringing the races closer to each other in the country. I think that we've really been in about a 30-year hole. That I think subconsciously we've been noticing and talking about the race relations that are going on. We do a lot of talking. We need to do more of actually doing something here. For example, Mr. Jackson talked about the austerity of the budget. And really, the impacts of some of those cuts have really been on a socioeconomic class that involves many minorities. And before we can balance the budget, we need to ensure that the basic thing about America is there, and that's the opportunities that exist both economically and from an educational standpoint.
I'd like to ask each of our guests your reaction to what the president had to say about immigration and how immigrants to the United States frequently become targets of discrimination. How did that strike you, especially you two representatives from California?
Well, Bernie,
where the issue was a hot issue. The issue was a hot issue in the presidential campaign, and of course, Congressman Jackson. But you two, I'd like to hear you respond to what the president said. We've got to stop this.
Well, Bernie, obviously, this has been a very divisive issue in California, and we know from the passage of Prop 187 that California's taxpayers don't want to continue shouldering the financial burden. I think the president was talking even about legal immigrants coming in being a target. And it is obvious that it exists out there. I was a little concerned about hearing him raise that. I don't know that it warrants the kind of attention that he made to it in this inaugural address. I found that, frankly, a little troubling myself.